On this episode, we discuss Return to Silent Hill.
Hey guys, I think it's a perfect time to buy some property in Scary Town, USA. That's right, Silent Hill. Do you guys want to go in on a hype house in Silent Hill with me? We could record podcasts. Elliot could continue doing his OnlyFans, all those things.
I don't want to breathe in that much ash. And welcome to the Flophouse. I'm Dan McCoy.
Hey, I'm Stuart Wellington.
Oh, I'm Elliot Kalin, and joining us we have a very special guest today. Stuart, would you like to do the honors?
He's a master of horror. Mm-hmm. He's a master of suspense. He's a master of special effects, the deadly art of illusion. That's right. Joining us is friend of the podcast, filmmaker Steve Kostanski. Hey, Steve.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for having me on the pod to talk about what I'd argue is the best movie of 2026.
Interesting.
I'm sure you guys would agree.
I'm eager to hear this argument.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of movie in here. There's lots to unpack in Return to Silent Hill.
In doing the summary for it, I found it challenging.
Yeah.
So as Dan usually says, on this podcast, we talk about the best movies of 2026 and whether they deserve that title. So I'm raring to look at Return to Silent Hill and see if it belongs to the 2026 canon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Flophouse is named after a house that is built of great movies, and then at the very top there's the best movie, and we see if it has to flop off the roof onto the ground.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a poker term. This was the flop of the. Anyway,
that's why Dan's wearing sunglasses.
That's why Dan's wearing
Jennifer Tilly.
That's why he's wearing sunglasses and a snakeskin vest, and he keeps kind of looking at me and holding up a deck of cards and saying, "Want to try your hand?" And I'm like, "Dan, why you don't talk like that? I understand."
When did you get
Chance Boudreaux walk in?
Yeah, when did you get the 4 playing card suits tattooed on your knuckles?
No, this is a podcast where we watch movies that were critically or commercially rejected by their various audiences, whether they be those critics or general audiences. And, oh boy, this is a picture. That's what I have to say about it. It's a picture. I saw the first couple of Silent Hills. Stuart, I know that you did your research.
So I this is a franchise I was not familiar with outside of, being aware of the name and the idea that it's a survival horror video game, and they made movies based on it. But I saw my pal Steve talking about it on social media, and I'm like, you know what? This is finally my chance to return for the first time to Silent Hill. So, Steve, what's your history with Silent Hill?
I mean, I should point out, this is the only time I've ever posted on social media about loving a movie. Coming out of the theater, I was just so blown away because it is, I won't get too deep into it, but it was really like exactly what I want in a bad movie. There's a lot of artful intent, very misguided, and just so much shit going on. Lots to unpack. But as far as my history with it, I played the games as a teenager. The first Silent Hill, playing through that was one of the scariest experiences I've had with media ever. Terrifying game, really effective. And the second game is heralded as like one of the best survival horror experiences ever made. And so this movie is a direct adaptation of Silent Hill 2. And big swing and a miss, no spoiler there. But as far as also my direct involvement with Silent Hill, I did work on Silent Hill Revelations 3D in the Paul Jones effects.
Oh,
studio.
you were the Pyramid Head, right? You were the guy in the Pyramid Head costume.
I had to make some hooks that I think went into Pyramid Head's back, and I did steal, I have it here with me, one of his bolts off of his head.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
It found its way into the garbage, which then found its way into my backpack.
Found its way into the garbage.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so the stuff I did on that movie, it was pretty early in my effects career working professionally, so I had fun low-level jobs like making a bunch of bondage gear for a bunch of suspended bodies. There's a sequence on a carousel where there's like bodies suspended.
Sounds
and they
edgy.
have like kind of leather daddy outfits, and so I had to teach myself how to make leather corsets and things.
Oh, wow.
And I also made the inside of it's Malcolm McDowell's in that movie, right? As a character. When he turns into a monster, I made the inside of his body that the main character reaches into to grab an amulet for some reason.
Yep. There's multiple amulets in that one. Actually, as kind of on Steve's urging, or maybe it was my own urging, I feel like I was just reaching out to Steve to be like, should I watch all of them? And he's like, I don't know, man. Go with God.
No.
So I watched the first two movies for the first time this week, and let's give a little bit of background here. The first Silent Hill movie came out in 2006. It was directed by Christoph Gans of Crying Freeman and Brotherhood of the Wolf fame. And it was written by Roger Avery of Pulp Fiction fame, which is great. I don't know why I find that...
AI heel turn fame.
Oh, he's done an AI heel turn?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Cool dude. Okay. So, from my understanding, that one is based like loosely on the first game.
Yes, it's kind of a rough interpretation of the first game.
Now I remember, Dan, I must have watched that first Silent Hill movie at your house at one point.
Really?
I have a very strong memory of it, but all I remember is Pyramid Head and everything just being kind of gloomy. But it must have been. But I thought it was for the Flophouse, but maybe it was one of those times when you showed like just a couple horror movies at your house.
Yeah, like every Halloween. I do like usually like I'll do one that is a crowd pleaser that I actually like, and I follow it up with a bad, at least in quotes, movie.
Sickos only.
And that probably was for that. And I have some fondness for that first Silent Hill movie. It does not make a whole heck of a lot of sense. It's a big bag of hard to
Return
follow.
to Silent Hill, which is a crackerjack puzzle box of a film.
I would say that
once you get to the end, you're like, I got to watch it again to pick up the clues.
Well, yeah, as
one of the main characteristics of the Silent Hill series is difficulty to understand what the hell's going on.
Well, in order to be able to write off this movie rental on my taxes, let me give a quick summary of the first movie.
Sure.
The first movie, okay.
Yeah, so a mother takes her adopted daughter Sharon to her birth home, Silent Hill, and they get trapped in a foggy, ash-covered world. There's like an evil cult operating there. It causes, at certain points in the day, it becomes like nightmare version, and then it'll switch back, and there's monsters running around. It's all because Sharon is like the good part of a girl who had been abused and became an evil demon, I think. And over the course of the movie, they help this evil girl get revenge on the cult. Mother gets trapped in the town. Father, played by Sean Bean, that's right, the Bean Machine, shows up with a very unbelievable American accent. It's great. He takes Sharon out of there. I do have to say that at one point he is aided by actor Kim Coates, who plays Officer Thomas Gucci, which is one of my LOL moments of the movie. And there is one scene that stands out where Pyramid Head picks up a girl, rips off her cult robes, and then rips off her skin in the same manner. And I thought that was pretty great. But it felt very much accurate to the a Japanese survival horror video game, in that there's an evil cult. A lot of it is wandering around. Things don't make sense, and there's a lot of weird exposition.
Yeah, and I admire these movies' commitment in a certain way to just providing vibes. Like it's just like, oh, here's a bunch of horror stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I watched them and I'm like, well, I can tell that even though plot-wise this isn't I've been told, I haven't played the games, this isn't really that there's not a lot of fidelity to the plots of these, but it is the feeling of it, which is a lot of wandering around, which I would argue works better in a video game where you're controlling the wandering than just watching someone wander.
Certainly, I think we'll find, spoiler for my thoughts on Return to Silent Hill, the feeling of sitting next to your friend while they play Silent Hill and they will not let you have a turn at the controller is not the most satisfying one for a film. You know,
Yeah.
ironically, the same feeling I had watching 1917. So make of that what you will. You know.
Yeah. This is followed up 6 years later with Silent Hill Revelation 3D, which is written and directed by M.J. Bassett, who is known more for TV work and the movie Solomon Kane, which I can't remember. Did we do that for the podcast, or did I just watch
we
that
didn't
for
do that for the
Lars?
podcast. Yeah.
I watched it
Which
for
I'd
Lars.
argue is a pretty great movie.
It's pretty great. Okay.
I'd like to
That's
point
a fun one.
out, because Steve mentioned it before, this being the one he worked on, Silent Hill Revelations 3D is the second movie. I'm so used to 3D being the third movie in a series that I get confused every time I see the title.
How often is that?
Well, frequently,
At least 3
recently, not in most of life, not
It's
that
not
much.
like like most days you suddenly
Yeah.
encounter the Silent Hill
Preparing
3D
for this,
title.
yeah.
And this isn't a adaptation of any of the games. This is just a direct sequel to the events of the first
Well,
movie.
It's could be argued it's taking the plot of the third game, which is a more direct follow-up to the first game.
Okay.
Silent Hill 2 is kind of a standalone thing. I think that's why people like it so much. It actually does away with most of the cult stuff that's featured in the first and the third game. So I think that's why Revelations 3D came second, because there's continuing characters from the first game and the first story. But yeah, just to make it extra confusing, it's like they jump to 3 and then double back to 2.
Although,
Or
from my
3.
understanding, most of the monsters featured in the first movie were all taken from the second game.
Yeah, all the big iconography that everyone latched onto comes from Silent Hill 2. Like Pyramid Head is specifically a Silent Hill 2 creature. And the creatures are
Dan, describe Pyramid Head. Describe Pyramid
He's
Head.
got a
first.
pyramid for a head.
Perfect.
All
He's
right,
also
okay.
really
Name checks
he's-
out.
He's got a muscly body, though.
Yeah. And he,
Shit,
like
that's real
a
muscly.
little bit lean. Like he's pretty toned.
Yeah, he's a hot
Like
dude.
drop his nutrition routine in there, please.
And if you watch the behind the scenes of the first movie, his like apron is actually open in the back, so his ass is out the whole
Awesome.
time, which is a weird choice, but yeah,
Makes it
Choice to
scarier.
cut it.
What's scarier? A guy with a pyramid head chasing you with a big blade, or a guy with a pyramid head chasing with a big blade and his butt is just out?
That's actually a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
scarier.
he does not care.
Yeah.
That guy doesn't play defense, is what I'm saying. He's not worried about.
Imagine how much less impactful the 28 years later movies would be if Samson didn't have his penis just swinging around
That's
through most of the
actually a good
movies.
point.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I will say
Penises are
that
scary. Penises and butts are scary. I'm just going to say it right here. I'm going out on a limb. I'll say it. The human body is a frightening thing. Yeah.
Elliot, I think
Yeah,
that
thanks,
you need to
Zardoz.
unpack this with your therapist. I think
Oh no. She said she couldn't. handle
bodies
me
are
anymore. Yeah.
beautiful and et cetera.
Silent Hill.
Even Pyramid Head's body, Dan.
I mean, people
Especially-
are horny for pyramid
I
heads.
guess the body.
Yes.
I guess the
Warning.
body, not the head as much. Yeah.
This movie continues the tradition of accent work because this features a performance by Jon Snow, Kit Harington doing a questionable American accent, and there is a monster in it that I enjoyed, the like spider mannequin monster that I thought was pretty cool. Do you remember that, Steve? Did you work on that?
Yeah, that was mostly CG, so
Yeah.
that wasn't really in our department. I don't think we built anything practical for that. And I feel like in Return to Silent Hill, there is a spider monster that's sort of an approximation of that, just not mannequin centric.
Yeah.
I will say, Return to Silent Hill. It really, to get it to the movie that we're talking about today.
I'm all queued up. I'm all ready to go.
It really delivers on the promise of a different monster in every scene. And if you like one of those monsters, sorry, you're probably not going to see it again. That monster scene is done. Time for another monster. And so even as I was finding myself feeling like I was sinking in quicksand while watching the entire movie, I did like that it was constantly throwing new monsters at me,
And with those monsters, though, like as much as I don't know, I haven't played the games. I get the feeling that it's not like they're built to not totally make sense. They have their own like dream logic or whatever. But
Well, yeah, they're all supposed to be manifestations of James's psyche in some way.
Yeah.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Tormented
Like,
psyche.
I feel like the fact that these monsters have been so mixed and matched from the games to these movies means that whatever thematic like resonance maybe these monsters had for what was going on has been lost along the way. Because
Yes.
it's my understanding, for instance, that like I don't know, they included like nurse monsters in one of them where it wasn't like the place where they
Yep.
would have been in the games, where there was a hospital, et cetera. So I don't know,
like Pyramid Head being in the first movie doesn't really make any sense because he's so tied to James specifically.
But how
it's
are you not
clearly
going to
just
have
a
Pyramid
case
Head
of
in that
like,
first movie? He looks amazing. He's got that great butt. Come on.
Yeah. I feel like the director was like asked about that when making the first movie, and he's like, I don't know. I feel like Pyramid Head is just like a force of anger or whatever. And the director of Silent Hill, the Silent Hill 2 video games, like, that's wrong.
and then in the case of Silent Hill Revelations 3D, he kind of becomes the good guy at one point.
Of course,
That's the nature. The nature of
yeah.
slasher baddies is they eventually become the good guy. Yeah.
You
to
root
fight a
for him.
worse monster.
Yeah, exactly.
The Blade
I mean,
2 syndrome.
No matter who wins, we lose. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, it's what happened to Godzilla. It happens to all the best, eventually.
Yeah.
So let's get into this. 20 years after the first Silent Hill, we return to Silent Hill with Return to Silent Hill 2026.
They should have called it Silent Hill 20-year anniversary or 20-year reunion. And it's the characters from the first Silent Hill have to come back to Silent Hill just for a social event, and everything goes wrong.
Yeah, it's right before they retire.
American Silent Hill.
Now, this was written and directed by Christoph Gans of the first film. And as Steve mentioned, it's, from what I understand, an adaptation of the second video game. The movie opens. We meet artist James Sunderland, who's hot dogging around with a very believable wig, driving his convertible, and he almost runs into Mary Crane, who is waiting at a bus stop to take a bus away from her hometown of Silent Hill. In the process, he accidentally messes up her luggage. He can't get her luggage together in time, and she just has the bus leave.
Even though she seems to own 4 shirts, they can't get the suitcase packed front of. And this is the least patient bus driver I've ever seen. He's waiting for, I think, 10 seconds before she waves him away and says, no, just go, just go.
I mean, I would understand that with, say, a New York City bus driver, but this bus is stopping in the middle of nowhere.
For one person.
And stopping at a rest stop, too. You would think...
You think that bus driver's going to be like, don't worry, I got to take a whiz anyway. Would get out.
Yeah, I feel like that's a scenic view stop along the bus route. People go and stretch their legs and take pics, but
I think it's worth flagging too when James is ripping around in his car. The song that's playing on the radio. I don't know if you guys caught any of those awesome lyrics.
Okay,
but at one point, I copied the lyrics here. At one point, it goes. Well, once again, I'm running from my past. Reality comes crashing down while glass rains down as ash. So, I mean, could be a little more on the nose, but
it all shows how the whole story is all just a reflection of his tortured psyche.
Let me look at verse 2. Verse 2, it says, I'm being chased by a pyramid head. Oh, wait, that's actually me. When I'm wearing my pyramid head, I'm afraid that I can't see. Oh, okay. Let's really get really on the nose there.
Don't forget, we get to the chorus. It goes, Panama, Panama.
Yeah.
Insert scat here. Yeah.
Do you think that's what the lyric sheet said for Panama? It just said insert scat here.
He'll know what to do.
Yeah. DLR's got this one. Okay. So this still is a bit of a meet cute. They seem to hit it off. They end up talking, and then they go back to visit her hometown of Silent Hill. And from what we understand, they fall in love and stay there. Years later.
I find it to be such a funny turn of events because she's like, I was trying to get out of Silent Hill to get to the city. And he's on his way somewhere, but it's clearly not Silent Hill. So the idea that he's like, well, you know what? I'll just bring you back to the place you were clearly running from, and we'll just settle down and start a family there. It's like the kind of thing that you see in I guess like a 19th century novel when it was harder to get from from one place to another. But it's like, you got a car, dude. Just drive her to the city. I think you're going there anyway.
Yeah, the next bus won't be through in a while. And,
it's a Brigadoon bus. Every 100 years a bus comes through. Yeah.
So years later, we catch up with James. He seems to be living in a city. Mary is nowhere to be found. He is a drunk being thrown out of bars. And he stumbles home to find a letter.
Yep. I want to say
thrown out of bars in a weird POV shot. I should flag.
Yes.
Oh, weird.
And also that he is thrown out of a bar he's like politely trying to get up and knocks the table over and he goes, oops, that's on me. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. And they try to beat him up and throw him out. And I'm like, he has been nothing but polite to everybody in the bar. Like, I don't understand why you're so eager to throw him out. I don't get it, but maybe
they asked him to leave because he was sleeping, which you're not supposed to have.
No, that's true. But he seems very eager to follow their directive. He's trying to leave the bar, but I guess it's not fast enough.
Yeah,
But maybe this is all happening in his head.
The bouncer's not doing a very good job. So when he gets home, he finds a letter from Mary urging him, begging him to return to Silent Hill. That's the title of the movie.
Oh.
He has a conversation over the phone with the psychologist who seems to be treating him, and she does not think this is a good idea at all. She does not want him to follow that choice.
Can we just talk about his like psychologist who is always framed through this fractured glass table? I'm sure you guys thought in every time we cut to her that, oh, clearly this is setting up that she's like maybe a figment of his imagination, or it's a very villainous way of framing someone.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the reason was. Maybe they didn't have a location; they just had a table. But
That's right.
it was an odd
possible.
choice.
But even the way that she's directed to be a negative character, a character who seems like that she's an antagonist. But to be honest, when she came back
giving
later,
great advice.
she gives some good advice. Don't go back to the place that traumatized you. Don't do it.
No.
Yeah.
Go back to like as we talked before the podcast. I think you guys all say the trick to beating Silent Hill is not go there. I'd say the other way.
No. This makes me imagine a different movie where she takes his advice. It's called "Don't Return to Silent Hill."
Yeah. He just doesn't.
Just has a nice life somewhere else.
He's still kind of a mess, but he's a safe living mess who's not being chased by monsters that vomit blood out of their stomach or spider women, you know. But then she shows up later, and I was like, wait, so now I think maybe she's not a real character. Like it was very hard to know if she was actually supposed to be an actual human or like you're saying a figment of his imagination or what. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
So he packs up his now more beat up convertible and drives to Silent Hill. He can't just drive into town. The road is closed, so he parks at the same overlook he originally met Mary, and he takes it on foot. The town is closed off. There seems to have been some kind of mysterious illness. It's raining ash. It's super foggy.
It's raining ash.
As in the
and flooding, apparently.
As in the hit Paul Schaefer song, "It's raining ash, hallelujah, Silent Hill's raining ash." Yeah, Paul Schaefer wrote that song.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did all the vocals too, right?
Yeah, they just pitched him up. They just pitched him up quite a bit.
Yeah, it was like the Chipmunks.
Yeah, exactly.
When he arrives, he meets a woman mourner, something or other, named Angela, who doesn't really give him much information. She does seem to not encourage him to go further into town, but he's like, I got to go meet my baby.
I mean, here's the thing about returning to Silent Hill. I know that he's gotten a letter from his ex, and he's still hung up on her. So he has a motivation to go there. But then the fact that he continues to walk around Silent Hill when it is abandoned and gray from ash.
Yeah. I think so. There are a couple of red flags that he fails to follow. One is it's abandoned and ashes raining down from the sky.
Didn't realize this became a relationship podcast so fast.
Yeah. The other is that monsters begin chasing him. And he's convinced, again, it buys into the notion more that this is a dream more than a reality, this movie. That even though monsters are chasing him and the town seems to have been abandoned years ago, he's like, gotta find Mary. She must be at the hospital. And it's like, this is not a functioning town. Like, she is dead or gone. You know, this is not happening.
It's also probably worth pointing out that in the game, when James gets this letter, Mary has been dead for 3 years. And so that's like a good spooky hook of like, how am I getting a letter from my dead wife? That like, I feel like it just builds way more mystery than just, oh, I guess she lived in this scary town.
Well, and that's treated as a reveal later. Right?
Yeah, which is an insane choice.
His therapist is just like, Mary's dead. You know that, right, James? And it's like, I'm still looking for her. It's like, oh, okay, I guess that wasn't that important because he just
I feel like at that point he had experienced enough weird stuff that he's like, I got to figure this mystery out, Doc. See you later.
And I will say, I know that like a lot of this can't be taken as literally as I'm taking it. It was like, why do you keep walking around Silent Hill? Because it does.
Those aren't good walking around Silent Hill shoes.
No,
it does operate.
It's going to hurt his feet. Yeah, he's going to get blisters.
It does operate on dream logic, but it is one of these things where if the movie was working for me more in other ways, I wouldn't be thinking this way.
Reminds me a little bit of what we did Fear.com recently, how like that movie starts out in a sort of nightmare world where everyone lives in apartments full of broken glass and dripping water. And so later on when the characters are kind of losing their minds, it doesn't change very much. It doesn't really
Yeah.
differentiate. Whereas here it's similar. Once he gets to Silent Hill, it is automatically such a nightmarish, like apocalyptic landscape that when things change at night, I'm like, well, they didn't change that much. Like it's not that noticeable.
Difference between daytime Silent Hill and nighttime is not huge.
No, I mean the one bar closes, I guess. Like that's it.
It is a horrible night to have a curse, though. So, actually, I do have a question for you, Steve. Now, in the Silent Hill games, is there combat? Does he get to? Do you get to fight these monsters?
Yeah,
or do you like run around them?
I mean, it's very late 90s, early 2000s survival horror combat where it's very clunky. The goal is to avoid fighting the monsters. Right. And when you are fighting them, you're just beating them with a pipe, which in this, the most we get is, I think he throws a pipe at a monster and then it scurries down a manhole.
That's when Steve pointed at the screen. He's like, that's just like the game.
I like that throwing a pipe part, but maybe that's just because in my current storyline in Harley Quinn, she doesn't have batarangs, though she's become Batquinn, so she just writes batarang on pipes and throws them at people.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, pipes are an underused weapon for sure.
For sure, except in Clue, in which case they are overused. Yeah,
too much.
Yeah. So he explores the town of Silent Hill. It is as we have described. He bumps into a weird vagrant who hollers at him, and he kind of walks away from the guy. He finds a club that seems to still have a flickering neon sign, and he goes in. And though the club is in ruins, it does trigger a flashback memory of his of visiting this same club with Mary when they lived in Silent Hill and meeting all her weird family friends.
Yeah, this weird, like, Rosemary's Baby kind of subplot that the movie has feels like Christoph Gans is doubling down on the cult angle of the first movie. Even though it doesn't really fit this narrative, it feels like he's like, no, I think the cult stuff was good, so I'm going to squeeze this
that's what people want.
Too.
It was 100% not a surprise to me when I went to the Wikipedia page and I learned that the cult stuff was not in the game that this was based on. I'm like,
so it seems completely unnecessary?
Yeah.
Yeah, the game is like way simpler than what this movie is presenting. It's like overstuffed with stuff, which is strange because I feel like it could be a very simple, straightforward, like horror experience of just guy wandering through a town looking for who he thought was dead wife and encountering monsters along the way.
You know,
but now
we've
got the layers.
I think sorry to interrupt, but I was wondering while watching it, I'm like, why is this not doing it? Because I wouldn't mind. I've seen movies where it's people exploring and it's scary, and like, why is this one not functioning properly? And I think part of it might be, you're right, there's like too much stuff in it. Like, it's not clear and simple enough. And if it was like he's trapped in this town and there's a monster after him and he's got to try to get away from it, and you don't need all this explanation.
Maybe it's a tall guy in a trench coat and a little hat.
Maybe,
like the tyrant or nemesis.
But there's just so much, like, all that backstory is no good, and the characters are so clearly evil, like from moment one. Yeah. Even though it's a small town, they're coded as like city sophisticates. You know, like they're all kind of artists who love the devil.
A real hellfire club.
Yeah. And then there's twins that speak in unison. In that club scene,
very silver Twilight Lodge.
There's a scene, not to get ahead, there's a scene later on where he sees across the street as this cult shows up and ushers his wife away, clearly unhappily, and he just watches it happen, and then he's kind of suspicious of his wife afterwards, and I'm like, dude, you needed to go over there and defend your wife. What are you doing? Like, I don't understand. If I was running errands and I saw my wife across the street, first thing I'd do is I'd go, hey, and I'd cross the street and go talk to her. But if I saw that a crowd of people that I know she doesn't like to be around ushered her into, it seems like an abandoned building, I would not wait to see where they were going. I'd just be run across and be like, stop that. What's going on?
Not to leap too far ahead in the plot, but later on, after
we're going slow.
After he has seen his wife, like, in the cult ritual, like having her like skin be peeled off.
Yes, they can take her blood out. Yeah.
Yeah, like afterwards, he seems mad at her for lying to him.
Yeah, it's because it's a thing called post-nut clarity, Dan.
I mean, I could see it, if this was a better movie, I could see it being a metaphor for a guy whose wife has been abused or assaulted in some way, who blames his wife and can't quite believe that she wasn't responsible in some way because of his own problems. But this is not that good a movie.
Very much to me.
Yeah, but I feel like this movie is not swimming in emotions that deep. So instead, it just comes off as like, why are you mad at your wife for all these people taking her blood?
feel like the headline here, dude.
Okay, so like the plot of the
It
movie.
seems like the main headline would be "Let's leave." Like, let's get out of town.
Yeah.
Bro, now I
A very
understand why you were
simple
trying
solution.
to. Yeah, now I understand why you're trying to leave town when I met you. You know, yeah.
So, like the plot of the movie, we stop that digression and return to the main storyline, where James,
The main story
once
of
again,
wandering around.
back in modern Silent Hill, is wandering around the town, and he is attacked by this armless creature that spits acid out of its chest.
Oh, it was
he hits it
acid.
with
I
a
thought it was
pipe,
blood.
and then it climbs. It's like acid blood.
Oh, okay.
It can be two things at once.
That's true.
He hits
That's
it with
true.
a pipe, and then it shimmies down a manhole. And then we get this alarm sound, and the whole town changes to nightmare version of town, which again, though nightmarish, is not that much worse than basic Silent Hill.
Yeah.
In fact,
Just more
I don't,
chain link fence. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't think I noticed that there was a change.
Yeah. He now gets attacked by a tidal wave of monster roaches, which he runs from. Luckily, these monster roaches seem deterred by things like chain link fences.
Yeah.
And he runs from this tidal wave and eventually is able to he can hide in the Woodside apartment building, which is an apartment complex that he lived with Mary.
Just to draw some attention to those little bugs, they do a gimmick that I love to do, which is they cut to close-ups of the bugs and show their little goober faces.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah.
It was just a nice little detail that I appreciated. It's always fun. It's always fun when creatures have weird little faces.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
it
give them a
made it
real
even more
face.
exciting. We had more of a tie to them for the next time we see the bugs. Checking. Oh, never again. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
never again.
They don't show
Yeah.
up again. Yeah.
So he wanders this like ruined apartment building, having flashbacks to when he and Mary lived here. And then when he finds their apartment, he has this flashback where he kind of interrupts Mary hanging out with her weird coven of friends who seem to be talking about something suspicious. And he also finds this weird altar to Mary's father, who was the leader of this church. And there's a lot of moths flying around.
He decides to ask no questions about these things.
I like the
I
awkwardness
mean, men traditionally
of him.
aren't known for asking a lot of questions.
No, but I feel like these are the
Except
kinds
for
of things.
Mark Maron, you know?
Yeah, Mark Maron or Joe Rogan. They're just
one.
Joe Rogan's just asking questions, guys. Come on, yeah.
But like, it's interesting to me, the structure of that scene of he walks in, the cult is sitting around talking. They just get up and leave. He comes in pleasant enough and says like, hello. And they just up and go and no explanation, no anything.
Yeah, maybe later on when he sees them doing their cult stuff, he doesn't interrupt it because he's like, I wonder if they're just talking shit about me. I'm going to sneak up and listen in and see if they're talking shit
Let me
about
wait and find
me.
out what they're saying about me. And they're like ripping blood out of his
Maybe
wife's
they don't
body.
like my artwork because he's an artist.
He is an artist, yeah.
And I mean, I bump on all this cult stuff, but I do love the weird altar in the closet with the little metal gates and the like paper mache head that opens up.
Yeah,
with
that's
moths in
cool.
it.
Yeah.
Because it goes like kind of unacknowledged. Like they don't really give any explanation. It's just a weird visual. And I kind of loved it.
I mean, this movie functions best as a collection of weird visuals. Like, it would be a better video installation than it is a story.
So wandering around the apartment complex, he does find a person who seems to live there, Eddie, who seems diseased and also happy that no one's around and potentially violent. And he seems to know who Mary is. And I think he suggests that she's at the Brookhaven Brookhaven Hospital.
And now, by this point, I was still trying to follow this movie according to regular storytelling rules. So I'm like,
Right.
oh, now he's going to have to work with Eddie, or like Eddie's going to come back, or no. I guess it's just a
No.
reference to something in the game, probably, you know?
Yeah, so this is a very confusing choice because the idea is that Silent Hill draws people, like people with guilty consciences to the town, people that are, struggling with some internal torment, and Eddie is one of these characters.
This movie would have made so much more sense if someone had said that sentence at any point in the movie.
Because there's some choices made later on where certain characters are kind of meshed together into one character that then basically renders Eddie pointless. Because there are other characters that show up that are just random people who end up in the town that James encounters, and they're people that are struggling with their own internal torment. But But the way it is in this movie, Eddie's just a guy that's there, and then he leaves, and that's it. And there's really, like, if that scene was lifted from the movie, it would have made no difference whatsoever.
Friend of the director, maybe.
Not only would that clarify things if someone just said that, but also that would be so much more interesting to me if we saw, like, oh, there are a couple of different people he comes across, and they're clearly, like, sort of like half interacting with him, but like dealing with their own trauma.
I mean, it
Like,
explains the
we
morning
see-
lady that he comes across early on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't understand what she's doing at all.
Yes.
you know?
Well,
Oh,
and
you'll
that's-
find out.
Yeah, that's exactly what that Angela character is, the same situation as Eddie in the game, where it's somebody that is just dealing with their own shit that's in Silent Hill that you encounter, and makes way more sense than what we're given in this movie.
Speaking of encountering other characters, Eddie and James find Laura, a little girl who carries around a dolly. And
not Salvador Dali, like
no,
a doll.
she's not
Yeah.
carrying.
Not a film dolly.
Yeah, she's not lugging around
I feel
this
like
huge
I
doll.
may
Yeah.
be more like common reference, and you guys are going deep on this one.
She doesn't have the Dalai Lama with her, and he's not like, "What? I have to be the spiritual leader for millions. What's going on? Where are you
Well,
taking
you
me?"
picked the spoon. I'm sorry, or whatever it is.
He picked the spoon, so it's like a Matrix type thing too.
I don't know. Whatever.
So
Whatever.
monsters start to
possession.
show up. Laura and Eddie both run off. James is trying to find his way out through this maze of apartment buildings.
And there
When he
is
comes
not a
upon-
giant peach to be found for James to hide in or use as a conveyance. Yeah.
But he does find a creature, in this case, a mannequin that turns into a spider, like in James and the Giant Peach, right? There's a spider in
Yeah,
that.
there's a
And
spider
he,
in that, yeah.
He runs away from that.
and to Pyramid Head. Yeah.
Things are looking grim for him when our old pal Pyramid Head shows up and beats the crap out of this mannequin spider.
So
Mannequin
I just want to
spider. Sorry, go on.
just want to pause on this moment for a second, because this is a pretty important moment in the game
In human
where
history.
where James hides in a closet and he watches Pyramid Head doing something to some weird mannequin monster, and it's very like sexual connotations to it, but it's very ambiguous.
Oh.
And so it was interesting to me that in the movie, the choice was to just have Pyramid Head punch the spider monster repeatedly in the gut until it
I
died.
don't know how you guys have sex.
Not that way.
But I feel like that moment really encapsulates what this movie is doing wrong, where it's like any ambiguity, any suggestiveness just pulled out completely. And it's like, well, what if he just beats the monster? Like, it's just finding a literal path that makes it more confusing somehow.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's being
that,
ambiguous.
that's both disappointing and interesting to hear. I have to admit, I couldn't get over the fact that James is trying to hide in the closet, but he does not turn off his fucking flashlight the entire time. That's the first thing you would do if you were hiding, right? Is to not literally have a beacon shining out to the room, showing where you are, but you won't do it. Yeah.
Now, have we passed the like armless white mummies with those shapely butts? Like, what are those monsters?
Well, they've all the monsters seem to have shapely butts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
A lot
this
of them
is
are
Silent Dan
actual
Hill.
dancers.
Yeah.
Silent Hill.
right?
Yeah, Dan's looking up, he's calling a real estate agent. Yeah, I want to look at maybe moving to Silent
Yeah,
Hill.
I'm pretty tormented. I could
they're-
probably go there.
No, you don't want to go there. It's full of monsters. Yeah, but butt-wise.
Are they
how's
caked
the-
up?
Yeah.
I went to. He's like,
no.
I did a timeshare on Monster Island, and I was real disappointed in the butts that I found there.
The monsters were not as advertised stupid thick, so not a fan. Okay, so
They must have
Pyramid
all
Head-
been using all those monsters using some kind of filter on their Instagram, because what I saw in person did not match up with the pictures.
Yeah,
so
it's
Silent
a
Hill's
lot
what
of
I'm looking into now.
positioning and angles.
Yeah.
So
Also, Dan's
Pyramid
like,
Head-
also, when my wife asks, can you tell her that's not the reason I want to move to Silent Hill? That it's because it's like waterfront
just for the
property or
silence.
something.
I want-
yeah, just the silence. I want the calm rural living, the small town living, not because of the butt thing. Yeah,
The hills referring to the butt.
I think my wife knows who she married.
yeah.
I would
And I
hope
think
so.
also
Yeah, I mean,
everyone
that's
knows that
part of the conversation. Right?
everyone knows that butts are not silent hills, depending on what you're eating, I guess.
Oh, damn. Save it for our episode on Dreamcatcher later, Elliot.
That's a good point. Later, we are recording an episode on
The
Dreamcatcher,
loudest
which
hills.
is much more about the sounds that a butt can make. Yeah.
So Pyramid Head creeps up on James. James, not a very good hider, as we've addressed. Pyramid Head's about to.
He might as well be going, "Don't come in here, I'm hiding," to the Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
Pyramid Head's about to smash him when the alarm goes off. And when James kind of comes to, Silent Hill is returned to normal Silent Hill state as opposed to Nightmare Silent Hill state. Pyramid's nowhere to be found. He bumps into Angela. The two of them try and sneak down the street that's filled with those armless, acid-spitting monsters. James bumps into little Laura again, and he has to chase her around. She leads him into a maze where he loses her, but he finds another person, Maria, who looks exactly like Mary, but kind of like the cool, edgy version of Mary.
And also just like standing there, it really to me felt like standing there waiting for the scene to start. Like
And
this
like-
movie's very effective at feeling like a PS2 cutscene from.
Yes, and she's like leaning against the wall, exactly like a video game NPC.
Yes.
Similar to the way that that Viggo Mortensen in what's the Crimes of the Future is always squatting down like he's a video game merchant.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they have a conversation. It's kind of boring, and they decide to like team up together and go to Brookhaven Hospital.
And
together.
she's trying to get him to leave
Yeah.
Silent Hill. She's
And
like,
that's
well, we
your-
could go. We could just go.
Pull quote for the poster, by the way. It's kind of boring.
I mean, these interactions are like, that's the thing is a lot of these interactions do feel like video game cutscenes, and I have been playing video games long enough that my brain's like, tune it
Skip,
out, get me to
skip.
the action.
Yeah.
Just show me. I don't care. Yeah.
So while they're on their way to the hospital, we see some more cutscenes, including the memory of this cult ritual where James sees Mary being like seemingly drugged and like manhandled by this cult, and they drink her blood and stuff. And he confronts her in their apartment, and he's like, "Yo, this is crazy." And she's like, "That's just what I'm like, dude.
Yeah,
That's what
again.
you signed up for."
But like,
Again, the
even though
first-
I wanted to leave, like
Yeah.
was making an effort to leave, still fine with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Doesn't lead with "Are you okay?"
No.
Yeah.
She's
So
he's not the most empathetic character, and she's not the most consistent character
Mm-hmm.
in her viewpoints on things. Yeah.
Well, it's in many ways her representation in this film is split into many forms.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
he that's a little teaser.
It's a tease for the most obvious thing in
so
the
they
movie
break up,
that the
and this
movie
is-
holds out on as long as possible. Yeah.
So this is the idea. This is where they broke up, and James left Silent Hill. At the hospital, James and Maria find a cassette recording that explains that Mary has been poisoned repeatedly by her father and the cult, and that this poisoning has caused like permanent damage and injury to her, and she has been hospitalized. This is when the alarm goes off again, and we are once again taken to Nightmare Silent Hill.
Halloween Town. Yeah.
They bump into a group of kind of dancing nurses, right, with knives, right, like stop motion dancing nurses
Yeah.
types.
I mean, they're kind of like do like jitter. It's a little bit like a scary version of the backup dancers from the Simply Irresistible and Addicted to Love videos, but they're nurses. Yeah.
But
And
also,
they've got
if they
knives.
like
But when
fall
you-
down, they shatter.
Yeah, when you fight them, they break apart into pieces. Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah,
they're
it's a
ceramic.
bit of a tweak from the previous iterations of these nurses where they're a little more organic. I did like that they made them these like weird porcelain things. And
And
there's
They've
that
got
nice,
creepy
like,
faces. Yeah.
This was definitely in the game, right, Steve?
yeah, I find it weird though. All three of the movies have a nurse scene where it's like they feel like they have to have the nurses in the movie, so they just cram them all into one hallway. Whereas, in the game, it's a little more subtle. There's like one or two floating around random hallways here and there. But
And
the movies always treat it like, okay, it's got to be this scene where they have to run through like 50 nurses, and then there's no nurses ever again.
And
It just
I
feels
assume-
like we got to put them somewhere. So here's the scene with the nurses.
And the nurses seem to function by like movie ninja rules, where if there's one of them, terrifying. If there's a lot of them, you can just push them over.
Yeah, you
and
can
they're
push
and
them
they're
over.
easy
Yes.
to defeat. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like activated by sound or something. There's
Yeah,
always
they're
like some gimmick.
They're
to
like
them.
Trexes.
Yeah.
I did
In
like
the-
that nurses. It's funny because they're supposed to be so inhuman, and their movements are supposed to be inhuman. But because their movements are so stylized, all I could see was dancers. Like
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
see the
Yes.
fact they're being played by dancers, and so I'm like, it's really
Well,
breaking the illusion.
it's a flash
Now all I think
mob.
about is the people who have been cast in these roles.
But they're
and
good.
They're good. No, they do a good job. It's if anything, they are. It's that like it really showed up with that the other monsters are mostly CGI. That these ones were
Yeah.
like they felt like they were played by humans when they're not shattering. They didn't shatter real people for the movie. They didn't use nitrous or something like that to freeze them and shatter them. That'd be crazy. No one take that job. Don't take that job. If you get a,
I don't know, dude. It's tough to get a job in Hollywood. I feel
is
like
tough to get a job.
more than one movie has suggested that people would be willing to get shattered.
It's something I either thought of or dreamed of, and I can't remember, and I may have talked about it on Flophouse before, I'm not, is the idea of a stuntman doing, or no, it's the star of a movie does all his own stunts, and they're like, we saved this stunt for last because you have to die while you're doing it. And he's like, oh, well, I don't want to do that. No, it's fine because we shot everything else, but for this stunt, you have to actually die while you're doing it. And the actor being like, I guess to finish the movie, I guess I have to.
That was a bit we did on our previous episode. So
that's
that
right.
was
I couldn't remember if it was
Flophouse flashback.
I couldn't remember if it was a bit we did or something that came to me in a mystic haze. Yeah.
Now we wake back up and we're in Silent Hill again. I'm sorry we're not back in that flashback, guys.
Oh, man, that'd be so much better. So Alex, if you want, you can cut out me misremembering if that was the thing that we did or not.
Loop it. So while trying to get away from the nurses, Maria gets stabbed seemingly fatally.
The worst kind of stabbing.
James sees Laura, the little girl, again, and she lures him into a hospital room.
More like Laura.
And then locks the door behind him.
Got her.
And he is confronted by this hospital bed moth monster creature. Who stuffs her arm down his throat, and he awakens in the hospital in a conversation with his psychologist.
Could I just take a moment to talk about that moment in that hospital room, the dark hospital room with the bed on the ceiling? Mm-hmm. The thing about this movie that keeps bringing me back to is that there are occasional moments of really effective horror imagery. And I think the shot of him looking with his flashlight and then looking up and seeing a bed on the ceiling as it kind of screeches towards him, that's a great shot.
Yeah.
I think that moment is really effective, surrounded by lots of stupid, but occasionally there's just flashes of brilliance where I'm like, why wasn't with the brain that thought up this shot, why couldn't everything around it be this effective? Because I find this moment, as far as just horror imagery, really satisfying and true to the case.
Well, that
was a certain amount of ADHD almost, where they're there's so many good ideas, but they don't want to take all the time to prep you for that, or they just want to throw more ideas at you.
I looked it up, and that was actually shot on Take Your Daughter to Work Day. So that was actually Christoph Gans's daughter came up with that idea, and she just had school. She couldn't be there every day. So the great ideas were when she was there,
That tracks, yeah.
She was like, what if there's a bed on the ceiling, Papa? And he's like, oh, brilliant. Put it in the movie.
What?
Let's do it. We're taking all the suggestions.
So
actually, this does feel like a movie that was made via suggestion box. They were like, crew members, if you've got a weird horror visual, just write it on a piece of paper, slip it in the box. We'll do all of them. We will not judge them on quality. And some
in
people just
order of them being read.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just the Key and Peele Gremlins 2 sketch.
He would go,
for Silent Hill.
What are we shooting today? And he'd shake the box and then pull out a card. Nurse mob. Okay, get me some nurses. That actually sounds like a really fun way to make a movie.
Too? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. Another.
I need a suggestion for the audience.
This paper just says porcelain. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do them both today. Sure, yeah.
So his psychologist, who I guess has made the trip to Silent Hill, is at Brookhaven Hospital where he's recovering.
Again, I don't recommend it.
And she says, she's like, yo, dude, Mary's been dead for a while. You trying to save her. This is all delusion, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, no, thanks, boring. And so he goes down into the basement of the hospital, which is now a kind of a nightmare gallery filled with paintings that he has made of Mary. Mm-hmm. Maria approaches and is begging him to stop his quest. This is when it kind of summons Pyramid Head, who kills Maria. He's like, I don't need you anymore. And in this moment, we also see kind of through Pyramid Head's helmet that inside it's James's face.
Yeah.
Is he Pyramid Head? Maybe.
The visuals would certainly seem to be saying that.
This causes a flashback where he's in his his studio making paintings, and then he falls.
Great art.
Yeah, making some sick ass art. The floor tilts and he slides down and lands in a lake, only to awaken on the shores of the lake in Silent Hill. Right by the Lakeview Hotel that is now on fire. And the Lakeview Hotel had been mentioned previously. It's a place that he and Mary like to go, and it also had the best view in all of Silent Hill.
Everything in this movie has Horror Town names. It's always kind of since Silent Hill, the Woodside Apartment, Brookhaven Hospital, Lakeview Hotel,
Lake, yeah,
Murder.
Dead
Yeah,
Man's Curve.
they all sound like places you would find in a horror movie. Yeah.
So he bumps into little Laura again. At some point, I don't know if it was here, but at some point we find out that the doll she's carrying is actually like a little like dead baby thing, right?
Yeah.
The weird monster baby.
Yeah.
Just a random
I'm not
baby.
mad at it.
No,
I ain't mad at it.
whoever slipped that in the suggestion box should have gotten a bonus.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
Hey,
fun
monster
little
Baby
gross thing.
monsters? You ever seen one? Creep me out. That's for the tiny group of people who remember Pick Me Up, the
From
Larry
the Masters
Cohen
of
Masters
Horror.
of Horror.
That's great. Okay, so this is where Laura drops some serious truth bombs, spills the tea, if you will, and that's where she explains, yo, dude, don't you remember Laura, Angela, Maria, Mary? We're all married, dude. And
A
then
little bit of Laura is
then we see
the same.
We see it at her
as
tombstone,
Mary is
and
the
her
same.
tombstone, which is not a pizza. Don't make any fucking pizza jokes. He's standing at her tombstone, pizza, and instead of pepperonis, there's like a million names on there that are, Laura, Mary, Angela, Maria, Crane.
Laura, Mary.
Insane choice.
It's an interesting choice. And he's
It's very funny to me that I, as an audience member, very early on was like, oh, they're all different versions of Mary, right? But he who knew Mary's full name, having been married to her, did not put two and two together.
Well, he's forgotten some things, as we'll
I
also
guess that's
learn.
Yeah,
He's
this
forgotten a lot.
expectation that the audience is going to accept that he's just like repressed all of this so much, is like just a crazy wish
thankfully,
from the filmmaker.
His psyche was smart enough to ask the dream tombstone maker, I guess, to carve all the
put it
different
all on
names in
there.
there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
later on he could remember.
I would have bought this more if they had shown him getting hit really hard in the head right before he went to Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, he walked under
the
a coconut
Odyssey,
tree.
basically.
Yeah.
So he then runs into Angela, who is being attacked
From Who's
by
the
this
Boss?
bed monster. And just like Angela from Who's the Boss, the bed has hands that are groping her and drags her.
Does that happen in
and
Who's the
him-
Boss?
Yeah. Elliot, have you been bonked on the head? You don't remember?
I don't remember the.
It
I
was
don't
a very
remember the.
special episode.
I don't remember the body horror elements of Who's the Boss.
Well, they get dragged down into this weird hell pit where
Angela,
now
you're being dragged into a hell pit. Yeah, I remember it now. I remember that. episode of Who's
Angela's
the Boss.
body morphed with either a bed or a book. I can't quite tell. It's like a big mattress monster.
Yeah, well, it's an interpretation of a creature from the second game that's called Abstract Daddy, which is
Abstract Daddy sounds like a band that would have opened for Oingo Boingo in 1987.
I like to think of myself as kind of an abstract daddy.
but this creature is supposed to be a representation of
Yeah, Elliot's a literal
parental
daddy.
abuse.
Now, baby, before we get busy, I just want to let you know my penis is a little out of the ordinary. I'm kind of an abstract daddy.
It's a little
But, yeah,
cubist. It's a little.
Yeah. I've been working on
Non-representation
my
of-
abstract dad bod.
I mean, I'm surprised that they went to the lengths to build this set and have this creature. Like, they clearly built a practical creature for this moment, just to have.
Which I'm not mad at. I think it's weird. It doesn't make sense. But
It's a
that's
weird
also part of
image.
what I liked about it.
The room, the pistons going in and out of meat holes, you can interpret that all you want.
But it very much seems to be a representation of Mary's abuse
Yes.
and his and he manages to overcome this monster encounter by apologizing to her, which
Yes.
is I don't know, dude.
Which I don't know. I love that. I love instead of fighting monsters, he just looks them
Yeah.
in the eyes and goes, "I'm sorry." I just
yeah.
you're not going to get that in any other movie, just
No.
in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it. I think it's okay. So,
I think it's sorry. I have to say it's funny that you're talking about how you like the apologizing when your most Canadian accent comes out. It's like, I'm sorry.
yes.
It's
you know what?
as a Canadian, I love.
I was actually thinking about that earlier because I was going to bring up the apologizing, and I was like, "Sorry" is when it really comes out in my
Yeah.
accent, and I was like, "Are they going to flag that?" So I'm glad you did.
Dan certainly is.
yeah,
The only thing you would have liked more is he was like, "There's only one way to settle this: on the ice," and they just strap on their skates and they get out there.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean that I know it's
classic
not
heated
true.
rivalry episode.
It's not true
Silent
per
return
se,
to
but
Silent Hill heated rivalry. Yeah.
our
Yeah.
American stereotype is, of course, how nice Canadians are. So
Yeah.
that seems like a thing that would appeal.
What are you talking about?
Probably Tim Hortons.
Now you're pandering. Now you're pandering, Stephen.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I got to go get my Timmies down out for a rip for some Timmies.
So this encounter's over. He is left with a pile of ashes in place of Angela. He climbs to the roof.
Not
and
a
once
great
again,
deal. Not a great
he's-
trade.
What am I going to do with these?
Remember, he is walking around a hotel that is on fire. So he makes his way to the roof.
Yeah, it's a
where he
regular
finds-
Barton Fink situation.
He finds
yeah.
Mary's body on a gurney, and this triggers a final flashback where we learn that he, sometime after the breakup, he returned to Silent Hill.
Oh.
This time
He
with the
pre-turned.
most believable fake beard I've ever seen in a movie.
This beard is so hilarious and unnecessary.
I love if this whole thing
insane.
is part of his imagination. I love that he imagines himself with a crazy beard. Like, always men assume that their beard looks cooler than it does. And he's like, no, this looks like dog shit.
Except for Dan's beard, which is great.
Yeah. But I'm saying that Dan's beard looks great in our eyes. In his mind, it's got to look crazy.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
in his mind, it's got lightning bolts in it. He can. It just produces food whenever he wants.
It's a beard from Greek myth.
Yeah. Ringlets, yes. So in this flashback, Mary has been hospitalized due to the repeated cult poisonings. She's apparently consumptive or something.
So we're asked to believe that like the cult poisonings were real. That
Yeah.
was not part of his psychic trauma coming through. She really was in a cult that poisoned her and then was taking her blood. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And it has trapped her in this kind of like living hell where she won't die, but she also can't live, and she's in constant pain. So she begs him to end her life, which
Sounds
he
like
does.
2026, guys.
Topical.
So he euthanizes her, and that flashback.
She's like, I can't
ends.
die. And he smothers her with a pillow. It's like, oh, okay, I guess you can.
I guess
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Review wrong, yeah.
And then we are back on the rooftop. The gurney
Like a
floats
fiddler.
up and morphs into, she is now this like floating moth monster that we had seen previously. As the hotel kind of crumbles around them, she lifts him up into the air where he, once again, apologizes.
Yeah.
What does that sound like, Steve?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yay! And that, of course, morphs this moth monster back into a Mary corpse wrapped up in a shroud. He stuffs her
Again,
in
not
the...
a great
Yeah.
trade-off. Like you want a moth monster, or you want a dead body. Come on.
He stuffs her into the passenger seat of his convertible, and he drives it off the pier into the lake, and they sink like a stone. This is where we get a sick POV shot.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's underwater, he looks at her, he looks at himself in the rear view mirror, and it's just like, hell yeah. And that's when, in a flash, he is back on the highway. It is the beginning of the movie again. He almost runs her over and smashes her stuff.
We got to watch the whole thing again,
Yeah.
guys.
He hit reset on the PS2 and he's starting over.
Yeah, he is doing a new game plus on this thing.
Yeah.
With all the retained experience, which will make the adventure even more exciting.
Yep.
And yet he can now make other choices, get a different ending, maybe, which is
In fact,
literally what he's
it's
trying to do.
Exactly what he does. Yeah.
He's trying to do a different ending where they, of course, miss the bus, but they still hit it off. And he offers what he should have offered in the
Yeah.
first place. Yo, let's not go to Silent
That's what we were suggesting
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
See,
Let
we
me-
were right
but-
all along.
You know what? Let me do the most obvious thing in this situation rather than the dumbest thing in this situation. But it took
What-
having
so
to go
what-
through all that to teach him
Yeah.
a lesson. Some guys,
when-
they'd rather apologize to a moth monster in a Berlin
Yeah.
hospital than go to therapy. Am I right? You know.
I mean, he's not
So
a
what-
very good therapy attendee.
When this like hard reset happened, when I saw this the second time in the theater, when I dragged all my FX friends to go see it, my friend Scott, like across the aisle, audibly just went, "No!" like just loudly to the theater because it made so little sense to him. And made me
And that was
smile.
shortly before your special friends hoisted you on their shoulders to carry you out of the theater as thanks for
Yeah, and
bringing
triumph.
you.
Oh,
as the new king.
Oh, they were so mad. They
And it
were
was
really
probably
upset.
tough because the theater was packed wall to wall with human beings.
No, there was one other guy that wandered in like 20 minutes into the movie, and so the whole time we're like, does he even understand? I mean, it's hard enough to understand it starting at the beginning, but missing the opening, but
Yeah.
that guy seemed into it.
So he probably didn't understand why everyone was freaking out at the end.
Yeah.
They were like, no, it makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's like me and he's seeing it multiple times because he loved it so much.
Yeah.
It was Christoph Gans.
Yeah.
Well, that's the perfect segue. The idea that
Is it?
Steve saw this multiple times to go into our judgments on this film, our final judgments, whether this is a good, bad movie, a bad movie, or a movie we kind of liked. I saw Steve's posts about this on social media, and I messaged him being like, should I see this movie? Because, at the time, I'm in the business of watching movies. I had a pass to see, as many movies as I like. So
And business is booming.
maybe I'm a little less,
Sure.
when I have one of those passes, maybe I'm a little less discerning about what I see. And I had liked the first Silent Hill movie. I watched the second one recently. I also enjoyed that, not quite as much, but I like both of them. I like the vibe. I don't care if I follow the movie. That said, I'm glad I didn't follow Steve's advice to go see the movie if I'm into this kind of thing. He wasn't unqualified. He's like, well, it depends on how you. But watching this movie at home, I was largely bored. Bored enough that I think that my brain slipped off it a little bit, and Stuart was telling me some things in his recap. And I'm like, oh, that happened?
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh, damn. Crazy if true.
So I'm going to give it a bad, even though the first two are movies I kind of liked.
I think this is a weird one because I think the more I talk about it, the more it's kind of grown on me. Like, this is a movie that I don't think it's good, and I think it does not. It doesn't understand the right lessons for making a good movie. But I imagine that it has enough similarities to the video game that it might feel like a somewhat faithful adaptation. I don't know. But it certainly felt like an adaptation of this kind of a survival horror video game. I'm a fan of survival horror games. I think the last one that I really liked was a game called Outlast 2, which was, I only bring it up because it was a game where you don't fight at all. You only have a flashlight that you can turn on and off. So like any monster encounter, I was always like, well, I can't like beat it. So the whole thing is like,
So
if I
better
die,
join it.
yeah, we're gonna team up. Hey, what's the healthcare plan around here in Monstervania? I feel like I was always more of a Resident Evil guy. Steve, are you if you were going to live in Raccoon City or Silent Hill, where are you going to live? I mean, you didn't name your son after a resident of Raccoon City.
He is named after Leon Kennedy, everybody's favorite Resident Evil cop.
Certainly my favorite.
I'd probably pick, if I had to live in one or the other, I would live in Resident Evil because at least it makes sense, like in terms of what you're fighting. Silent Hill, it's just your internal torments manifesting as monsters.
You don't need to go anywhere for that.
Yeah, I do know that.
I feel like that's my waking life, so I don't need to go to a town.
In my waking life, I talk to a series of people and kind of like, there's not really a story so much, but I just kind of talk to people about philosophy or whatever, and it's all rotoscoped. Yeah, exactly.
It looks great.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say weirdly, I'm gonna say this is a movie I kind of liked. I can't recommend it.
I'm going to jump in here. And reassert sanity on this episode. This is a bad movie. I think if you want to see like a supercut on YouTube of like all the monsters in Return to Silent Hill, go ahead and do that. But I think it is an unsatisfying experience, and I did find myself more bored watching this movie than I think I have been in a long time with any movie that I've seen, let alone Flophouse movies especially. But like it's just very. It really did feel like I was sitting there watching my friend play a video game, and he was not talking to me, and he was not letting me play, and I couldn't leave because my mom
that sounds
had to
like
run
a Silent
errands.
Hill game right there.
My mom. I knew my mom wasn't coming back for another hour and a half. This is when I would start being like, "Can I walk the 7 miles to my house from my friend's house?" So I would say bad movie. I really didn't like it. But now, Steve. Be the deciding vote.
Okay, well, first I want to ask, though, because this movie to me, you brought up watching Fear.com. This movie to me feels like a mid-2000s Dark Castle movie.
It does, yeah.
If you were presented with the choice of Return to Silent Hill or Fear.com, Dan and Elliot, which would you ultimately land on?
I think I'd
To
probably
live in or
just
watch?
which, if you had to watch one again,
just
which
to
one
watch.
would you
I would do my best to break out of the trunk of that car and just run away. I don't care if my hands are tied. I don't care if there's a hood on my head. I'm just running
that was
into.
a sequence in I Saw the Devil, right?
I mean, I admitted in the Fear.com episode that it was my third time watching Fear.com, so I have to out myself as that kind of sicko. Because that movie, I think, moves at least in a way that this one I found
I think
inert when there weren't monsters on
There's
screen.
something
think
so
I would-
funny, though, that the emotional climax of this movie features the worst beard you've ever seen.
It's
Yeah.
true, but I think I would also watch Fear.com only because there's like scenes in it. There's like scenes and dialogue.
Yeah.
As opposed to here, it feels very much like you're just following this dude. And he's just every now and then he bumps into a monster. And the
There's
whole time
something about that, though, that it like reminds me so much of playing one of these video
Just play a
games.
game, though.
I know.
just play the game.
I just find
Yeah,
it
exactly.
fascinating. I'm not like, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's
I
hard
mean,
to
the only thing I can imagine, it's like if I love the game Tetris, but if I was like, yeah, let me watch the Tetris movie, it's just 2 hours of blocks falling from the sky. I'd be like, I'll just watch the game. I don't mind. I don't
Yeah, but
care
by
if
the
it
end of those
reminds
2
me
hours, those blocks are falling fast as hell.
Yeah.
That's true. They're falling so fast.
The music
It's true.
bumps
Yeah, it's
up.
like a Safdie Brothers movie at that point.
I mean, Tetris is the Safdie Brothers movie of video games.
Yeah,
Because you're
where
like,
you're stressing.
because one bad mistake screws you up so much, and all you can do
Yeah.
after that point is make more bad mistakes. Yeah.
Or maybe Dr. Mario because the soundtrack's better, but yeah.
The soundtrack of Tetris is great, even though it's just basically the two songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to argue the soundtrack of Dr. Mario is better than the soundtrack of Tetris. We can have this argument.
They're great soundtracks.
listeners weigh in.
Listeners, write in.
So,
You be the
right in,
judges.
are you a
yeah.
Fear.com
Fever
or
for Dr.
Return to
Mario
Silent
still.
Hill?
Yeah.
Are
Or
you a
a
Dr.
Dr.
Mario?
Mario or a Tetris?
Yeah.
Like these are the
Are you a Carrie or a
Different
Miranda?
personalities. Steve, I don't think. Did you give your final judgment? I think that we know that you're
No,
the world's number
it's-
one fan.
It's pretty obvious that this is a movie I kind of like. But like I said in my social media post that most people seem to ignore this part, I said it is a terrible movie. It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
But I just find it fascinating. To me, it's someone with real artistic intent making this film. This is not a cynical movie. This
Yes,
is a
that's
movie
true.
where Christoph Gans is trying to adapt Silent Hill 2, and he's succumbing to maybe his worst instincts, one of which is committing to the cult angle. And he's overcomplicating a very simple story. Like in the game, essentially the plot is just you get a letter from your dead wife who died of a terminal illness 3 years prior, telling you to come back to Silent Hill, a town that you had vacationed at, when she was still alive and you were together. It was a very kind of simple setup, a lot of ambiguous elements that were very effective. It's a very effective horror story, and I'd argue Silent Hill 2, the game, is one of the best bits of horror media out there. So for me, this movie being such a swing and a miss is just a really interesting thing to dissect and watch. I'm not saying that I enjoy it and think that it you're going to have a good time watching it, but as a weird oddity that I want to put in a glass case and be like, look at this weird thing that exists. I really appreciate it. And for me, it's funny that you guys say that you're bored by it, because I felt like this felt like a speed run to me of a game where every scene something was happening, whether it was clunky dialogue or a weird monster or just weird transitions between scenes, or with the therapist looking through the glass table, stuff there's just choices that every scene has a choice I'm trying to unpack. And for me as a filmmaker, I think I find that endlessly fascinating and entertaining.
I've definitely felt this sort of fascination that you're talking about with movies that I would never try and sell to another person, but to me they're such an interesting object. And I think part of it must have to do with familiarity, because
yes,
it makes sense to me that Stuart and you, Steve, are the ones who have, if not played Silent Hill, in Stuart's case, played similar types of games with regularly at least, or with some degree of familiarity. Whereas I'm making an assumption about Elliot, but I don't think he has, and I know I haven't. So
No, I've never played them.
Well, it's the video game connection certainly helps, but also I have a real nostalgia for the early 2000s style of horror movie.
Yes.
This movie, you can shit on it all you want, but it effectively is.
Oh, I will, sir.
It is a it is a
pants.
throwback to 2006 filmmaking. Like it feels like Gans made the first Silent Hill and then immediately made this movie.
And then just
he
held
went
on
into
to
a
it for a long
credit
time.
tube.
Yeah, like in its even just its cinematography is so of that era. There's very like rich colors. It has actual shadows in it, which is a thing that a lot of horror movies don't have because of the current style of color grading. Like the blacks are black and the whites are very white, and I find that just on a cinematography level, that's a very makes for interesting visuals. So I don't know. There's just like a lot of things in there that are interesting to me, even if the movie is an absolute mess and a disaster.
And that's the stuff that I also like because I have a similar fondness. Just to me, I feel like the perfect way to watch this movie would be on mute at a party.
Yes. Yeah, it's great background noise.
It's a really good background one. I think in some ways, I think I might enjoy watching it more a second time because I know what I'm in for, as opposed to the first time where I'm like, what's like, there's nothing. I mean, there's stuff happening, but there's nothing really happening. And it really started to bother me that maybe just because I saw the same thing in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, where in action scenes, the character just doesn't react vocally in any way whatsoever. Yes. Like he'll come across something and he won't even go like, what? Or like, ugh. He just kind of, it's all in the, it was like, this isn't a silent movie. He can make sounds, and things like that. Like
there was like one moment early on where I think James goes like, this is crazy. And then he doesn't acknowledge anything for the rest of the movie.
he's like, I said it already. I said this was crazy. When I have something to add, I will say that too. Yeah.
That's what it felt like. They're like, well, we got that out of the way. So now he can act like everything's normal, which another insane choice on a pile of insane choices.
Yeah. A lot of funny choices made in this one. All right. So yeah, movie of the year. 2026. Yep. Just give out the Oscars now,
Thank you to all the Max Fun members who supported us during Max Fun Drive. You're helping us as we try to put more good into the world. And as part of putting more good into the world, we've opened our annual post-drive charity sale. Max Fun members at $10 per month or more can purchase Max Fun Drive keychains featuring designs for shows across the network. And all members can buy our charity-exclusive keychain starring Mikey, our little microphone buddy from this year's Max Fun Drive. This year, we've decided to send the proceeds of the charity sale to the Center for Constitutional Rights. They're dedicated to the creative use of law as a positive force for social change, tackling issues like human rights abuses, racial injustice, and sexual and gender-based violence. These folks are fighting to make things better. So to get your keychains and support the Center for Constitutional Rights, head to MaximumFun.org/charity sale. And if you're not yet a member, you can still get in on this. To support the show you're listening to and get access to bonus content and the charity sale, just click the link in the show notes. The sale is live now, and it ends on Friday, May 15th. That's MaximumFun.org/charity sale. And thanks again.
Say, what's the trivia show where dreams come true?
It's gotta be Go Fact Yourself.
Legend in the house.
We quiz celebrity contestants about topics they love.
Then bring out surprise experts
to delight and amaze.
And then finally tell us why you know and love the lyrics to the song Knockin' Boots by Candyman.
Joining us tonight is a rapper and producer. It's Candyman!
This is among the greatest moments of my life.
This is one of mine too. I love it.
That's Go Fact Yourself.
Twice a month, every month.
Here on Maximum Fun.
The Flophouse, of course, is overwhelmingly supported by listeners like you. I know the drive is over, but if you love the show, you can still become a supporting member at MaximumFun.org/join. But we also have some sponsors. And this week, oh, look at them coming down the road. It's our old friend Squarespace. This podcast is brought to you, in part, in fact, by Squarespace, the place that gives you everything you need to offer services and get paid all in one place. It's 2026, whether we like it or not. Mostly not, but you need a website. You can get paid on time with Squarespace with professional on-brand invoices and online payments. You can streamline your workflow with built-in appointment scheduling and email marketing tools. They're easier to use then I was able to say them. The folks over at Squarespace, you know what? They also offer a complete library of professionally designed and award-winning website templates. You don't have to mess around with HTML. You have options for every use and category with intuitive drag and drop editing, beautiful styling options, visual design effects. You don't need experience. You just need to go over to squarespace.com/flop for a free trial. And when you are ready to launch, use offer code FLOP to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And also, you know what? We're also sponsored by Aura Frames. Ooh, I love me my Aura frame. This Mother's Day, why don't you frame up in your Aura frame a picture of what makes your mom so special? Yeah, give a mom her due. You know, we all have treasured memories of our loved ones, perchance our mothers as Mother's Day approaches, things that they do, special things. I recently made myself some lemon bars because I saw lemon bars on Instagram, and I thought about how my mom always made lemon bars when I was growing up. That was her go-to dessert baked good, and I did it out of nostalgia. And you can keep special moments alive using your Aura frame. Is there a habit, a dress she loves, a thing she always does? You got some pictures of those? Put them on your Aura frame. Think about your loved ones. With Aura, you've got free unlimited storage. You can add as many photos and videos as you want. Every frame comes packaged in a premium gift box with no price tag, so it's easy to gift, and you can add a little message for the recipient before it arrives. And, you know, if you give these as a gift, the great thing is you can add more photos remotely. You know, if you live away from your family, but you want them to stay up to date, you can just, shoot some new photos into that Aura frame. So make Mother's Day special with Aura Frames. They were named #1 by Wirecutter, and you can save on the gift that moms love by visiting auraframes.com. For a limited time, listeners can get $25 off their best-selling Carver matte frame with the code FLOP. That's AURA Frames, promo code FLOP. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
Now what do we do on the podcast, Dan?
Let's answer some letters from listeners. Listeners like you. This first one is from David, last name withheld.
My brother?
Not Elliot's brother. I'm sorry, Elliot. I don't know why I'm apologizing. There's a wave of relief every time
is my brother okay? I don't understand.
It's not.
I'll just assume it's David Duchovny.
Yeah. He's got a red shoe diary he wants to read.
I feel like David Duchovny. Have you seen David Duchovny lately? He's kind of morphing into a Walter Matthau as he ages.
Really?
Which as he olds.
I mean, that's not a bad as he olds.
It's not bad.
Pretty good
It's not
results.
bad,
I mean,
no.
if you're gonna.
But I could see that. I could see his face in Walter Matthau. He's like, when he was young, he was like handsome Walter Matthau. Yeah.
But although I love
Which is the same as Walter Matthau.
still in like Charlie Varick years, he's like killing it with the ladies. Walter Matthau.
Because Walter Matthau's got charisma, Dan. He's got riz.
He does. He does.
He's the
Silent
Risley
Hill
Bear.
letters.
Come on.
Here we go. As many have said before, your podcast has gotten me through
He's Resident Evil. Go on.
Thank you for permitting. As many have said before, your podcast has gotten me through the horrors of the last 10 years. I have the unfortunate luck to live in downtown Washington, D.C. So I've had a front row seat to pretty much everything our big, wet president has done to my hometown.
Enjoy your new reflecting pool that looks like a swimming pool. Enjoy it.
I was actually listening to your episode on Primal while the January 6th insurrection was happening outside my apartment.
Yikes.
Your friendship has been an island of stability in a chaotic time, so thank you.
I will say, you know what? I'm going to say something. Not to interrupt the letter. I am heartened by the lack of Flophouse listeners that I believe were caught in the net of arrests after January 6th. And nowhere did I see that someone was listening to Flophouse while taking part in the insurrection on January 6th. And that makes me feel really good about our audience.
Yeah, there's
so
nobody
thank you,
doing
audience.
like a house cat row while on the Senate floor.
That would be the worst. Wait, someone's getting arrested with police and goes, wait, what? Come on. Like, that would be bad. Yeah.
Wasn't the guy carrying the podium away? Wasn't he doing the house cat sound? I thought.
Doing the house cat. What is that dance? We got to figure it out. No, I mean, I think our frequently expressed personal views have probably weeded out.
I sure hope so.
Anyway, The letter says, earlier this week, I was able to catch last year's sci-fi horror flick Ash on streaming, and while I thought it was a little creaky in places, the atmosphere and creature effects were terrific. Like all movie sickos, I found myself thinking of the letterbox review I would write about this movie, eventually settling on R.I.P. Stuart Gordon, you would have loved Ash, parentheses, Flying Lotus, 2025. My question to you is, what other movies have you seen and immediately thought, man, I wish this legendary filmmaker were alive to see this? Some others that popped into my head. Buster Keaton would have died laughing at Police Story 3 Super Cop. I bet Soviet new humanist master Mikhail Kalattsov would have loved Sean Baker's Anora. Excited to hear your thoughts and keep on keeping on. David, last name withheld. That's the way you got to say it. Whenever anyone writes "keep on keeping on,"
you gotta say it that
Mosey
way.
on that dusty trail.
Get along, dogies. That's the end of the letter. Now it's your turn. I have to admit, this is not anything I've ever thought after seeing a movie, but maybe you guys have had this experience. I'll try to think of some. But
I thought it was it's
a cool idea.
A cool idea, which is mostly why I wanted to read it, because I certainly don't have a great answer for it.
I always
you like
wanted
to challenge
say,
yourself.
I feel like every dead filmmaker just needs to watch Avengers Endgame, you know? The pinnacle of filmmaking.
I mean, there's certain... Go on.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I was just going to say, I would love to sit in a theater with Kubrick watching Return to Silent Hill. I feel like that would be...
I actually feel like he would probably get a lot out of it in some ways.
That's what I mean, is I think he would be like into it in a lot of ways and appreciate some of the artistry behind it. So that's my answer.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great answer, because I think the things that I'm running up against are, it's just like, okay, well, what current artists do I think were influenced by previous artists, you know? And then that's not as interesting. Like, is it going to be interesting to be like sitting in a Wes Anderson movie with Hal Ashby next to you? I don't know.
Not particularly, but I bet you, like, I could see watching Everything Everywhere All at Once with Frank Tashlin, and I could see Frank Tashlin really enjoying that movie for how kind of like elastic and plastic it is, you know, and not the kind of movie he would have made, but similarly living in a kind of almost animated universe, you know.
Yeah.
Or the new Super Mario Brothers movie with David Lynch. That'd be great. He'd love it.
What is happening?
Whoa, Star Fox is in this? Nobody told me that.
Who is that plumber?
See, Dan, we're going in two different directions. In yours, David Lynch is not aware of it, whereas in mine, he's a total Nintendo Power fan. Yeah, exactly.
Both are good options, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't
choose your own adventure.
They barely scratched the surface of Rosabelle's potential. That's the name of that other princess, right?
Rosalina?
Rosalina.
There's another princess?
Bowsette?
There's like three, right? There's like Daisy and Princess Peach and Rosalina.
Rosalina. You know what? I saw this movie and I can't even remember what the names of the characters in it.
These are characters I primarily know from Mario Kart, not from doing the various adventures.
David Lynch is watching the movie and he goes, as soon as Yoshi shows up, you can tell that's Donald Glover doing Yoshi's voice.
Yeah.
And then he walks, and then the problem is that
he lobbied for the role.
And then the problem is that when you get up to leave, he's going to, what are you doing? We're watching this again. Sit back down.
Yeah. Okay. Would have been better shot on DV cameras, though.
Yeah.
You think this was shot like on a film camera, David?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lynch is imagining that these are little creatures running around and they just...
I gotta see if Toad is available for my next project. There's a psychosexual quality to him that I think could come in handy.
This next letter is from Nika, last name withheld, who writes, I've been a fan of y'all since listening to your D&D episode on Taz, which I found hilarious. Not to immediately discredit this, but I have almost no sense of humor. For a long time.
Wow.
This
is an interesting person, and I want to hear more.
Yeah, they love us, but have no sense of humor. For a long time, I used to watch stand-up or comedies and fake laugh with everyone else because I look like a psychopath if I don't. Now that I'm in my 30s, I've accepted that most comedies I've watched weren't actually funny to me. Examples are like Mrs. Doubtfire, Tommy Boy, Zoolander, Monty Python, Dumb and Dumber, Airplane, Friday, honestly, most popular comedies. I mean, personally, there's like 2 in there that I would think are works of genius, and like a bunch of ones I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine, exactly.
But guess which 2, listeners? I love the idea of somebody sitting stone-faced being like, well, the deal with airline food is that it's hard to prepare hot, fresh meals for people on a plane.
That is the deal. They cannot make it out of the black box. The black box is too heavy. I sometimes hear a good
peanuts
joke.
have to be in a small bag because you have to have enough of them for everybody on the flight, and it has to be hard to open the bag because you don't want them spilling out during takeoff or landing. Yeah. Andy Kindler actually had a bit about that once. It was about a
diabetic
candy. He goes, sugarless chocolate. Who's that for? What's that about? And he goes, diabetics. That's who that's for. The idea of any joke where they could have done like 2 minutes of research to answer the question. Yeah.
Continuing to the letter, I sometimes hear a good joke and think it's clever, but it still doesn't make me laugh out loud.
Somebody's got a book to read, and that book is called Joke Farming by Elliot Kalin.
Can you all recommend a comedy, maybe one that doesn't rely on physical humor, that is certain to bring a chuckle? Thanks, babes. Nico, last name withheld. Well, I like being called babe.
Who wouldn't like that?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's hard. Like, comedy. I'm breaking some real new ground here. It's subjective. It's hard to say. Oh yeah. It's hard to say based on sort of the wide variety of different comedies that you said you didn't laugh at anything other than like, I don't know, like these are my favorite comedies and they may not work for you. Like any of the early Marx Brothers movies are some of my favorite comedies. I love The Jerk. I don't know. Like these are movies that will always get a laugh out of me, even if I've seen them before.
If you don't get at least like one chuckle out of Top Secret, I think there's something wild going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't like Airplane, so it seems like
yeah,
that.
but those movies are totally different. They're nothing alike in any way.
There's no underwater like tavern brawl in Airplane.
Yeah, there's no backwards Swedish scene.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Or someone with a giant eye looking through a magnifying glass.
Yep. I'm going to recommend a television show rather than a movie. I know that's not the same thing. But it does not have
Studio 60 again. I'm gonna fucking beat you up.
But I was a big fan of. I'm a big fan of the Philomena Kunk stuff.
Yeah.
So the show Kunk on Earth, which is a parody of those documentary shows that are like, where did we come from? What is human history? And it's just a joke delivery machine. It's just joke after joke after joke. And I think, and in that, if you don't like Monty Python, you might not like it because it's a similar sort of like British smart dumb comedy, like you need a university degree to write the stupidest joke in the world. But I think it's really funny. So
it's funny that like I feel like the letter writer because I tried to watch that thinking like this is going to be for me, and like I can see that she's very funny. I can see in theory the material's funny. I just sat there being like, this is not working.
Do you just get
for me.
stressed out because she's pretending to be very dumb in front of smart people? And like
there
wasting
is a
their
part
time?
of me that does not like that kind of fuckery in comedy. Like it's just like I'm just going to mess with these people. Like I don't know, unless those people are
it's pretty light.
evil,
It's pretty
like
light
we did on the
messing
Daily
with.
Show, where it's like, oh well, now I understand. Now I understand why I'm on your side.
I don't know. She's not trying to get anybody though. Like she's not trying to she's not trying to like get them to say something that will indict them in some way. She's just being dumb in front of people and kind of confusing them a little bit.
I just don't like that. I don't.
Well, I think it's a very funny show.
But anyone else want to toss their suggestions in the old comedy hat?
I'm trying to think of something like that's out of left field that might shake it up a bit. I guess
it's all corner gas from this guy.
Yeah, nothing but Corner Gas and Trailer Park Boys. I mean, I guess I could recommend Nirvana the band, the show, and then Nirvana the band, the show, the movie. Just as a bit of like Canadian weird comedy. It does play into Dan's thing of not liking people getting fucked around with a little bit.
I think that's very minimal in that movie. But I already went.
You worked on what, the show?
Yeah, I did. There's like a Halloween episode of the show where there's a werewolf transformation that I did. So
Awesome.
I was on set for a few days and got to experience that insanity firsthand. There's a lot of running around parks in Toronto while this werewolf guy interacted with people, and then PAs would come up after with like release forms to get them to like sign their likeness
Magic
away.
of the movies,
it
baby.
was it was a real peek behind the curtain on how that kind of insanity plays out.
Steve,
But,
this is a side question, but it really like kind of interests me. Like, to me, from the outside, like werewolf transformation, like that seems like, oh man, like if I was a special effects person, like, oh, that'd be fun to like take my crack at that. Like, are there any like specific things like that you're like, oh yeah, that's like what I want to do, or that way?
I really like any kind of tokusatsu adjacent stuff, which is pretty obvious at this point. Like,
okay, you gotta explain what that is.
Okay, well, like Japanese like genre cinema, or their style of special effects, where it's like it's not really about realism as it is about theatricality, and like Power Rangers style monsters, where it's like this guy's got a big key for a head, and this guy's made out of tires, and
they all kind of like they all do that one motion where they kind of rev up with their shoulders and arms when they're about to do something.
Because typically the movement from like the head down is limited to just like your elbows, so you have to just go like this a bunch.
I see. That makes sense.
But yeah, I don't typically get asked to do that kind of stuff, which is why my movies feature it so much, because I just want to make weird monsters. But werewolf stuff does interest me. The thing people don't talk about, though, is that everybody loves werewolves. Everybody wants werewolf transformations. They don't talk about how it's actually like one of the hardest things and most expensive things to execute. And it's kind of an obvious reason, but there's just so much hair work involved.
And so many stages, right?
I thought you were going to be it's kind of an obvious reason. People don't look like wolves.
But like, somebody has to punch hair or lay the hair for all this. This was one of the reasons why Rick Baker left the industry, was because on Wolfman, they didn't want to pay for the hair for the werewolf in it, like the Wolfman in it. And so he said, well, if you don't have the wolf, then it's just man, like it's just a guy. Like, so it's
Rick Baker, based on his ponytail, respects hair.
Yeah, I mean, he could have just snipped that off and used it, I guess.
I mean, he literally made Harry and the Hendersons, right?
Yeah, this is true. So yeah, I mean, for Nirvana, the band, the show, doing that werewolf was fun, and it was like a bit of a bucket list item. But it's always the scenario of you don't have enough time, money, resources to do it. And I find that's always the trap with werewolves, because I'm always quoting on doing werewolf builds for stuff. And when I give people the number, they're like, oh, that's crazy. And it's like, well, you just walk through what it takes to build a big, hairy dude. Like, it's expensive.
You can see from the outside, it's complex. If you want to do it practically, it's complex.
Yeah, you just glue a bunch of wigs on somebody. Done.
Yeah, just throw them on. Yeah,
exactly.
Getting back to comedies, the first half of Banshees of Inisherin is pretty funny.
It's true.
Well, I was going to go like a little more left fields. If they don't like just like straight up comedies. I mean, the Coen brothers did like things that are comedies, but it comes at it from like a different angle of comedy than just like, I don't know, like it's a funny character we're focused on, or it's like a laugh a minute, like just throw a bunch of jokes in. That might be a route that is more different if you're looking for laughs. I don't know.
I'm always looking for laughs. Thanks for all the advice, guys.
Okay, well, apparently Stuart was the secret letter writer, and we didn't know it this whole time.
And I highly recommend my book, Joke Farming, from the University of Chicago Press. How to write comedy other nonsense, even if you don't want to write comedy.
Which features Hinterland's Bar prominently.
Hinterland's Bar is mentioned in it,
And that's a movie, you're saying? That's a movie that you would recommend?
It's like a movie on paper. Yeah.
Okay.
But I've heard they've optioned the rights.
Yeah. Like many how-to-write books, it has been optioned for films.
Yeah, it's been optioned by Brett Ratner.
Oh, yeah, I was not happy about that, yeah. But the same way that Ridley Scott, how he optioned The Elements of Style a while back.
Yeah.
He didn't really, I'm just joking, but he options a bunch of stuff.
Oh, that would have been too bad. I think he would have crushed it.
Remember, at one point he was going to make a Monopoly movie? Whatever happened to that?
I was excited for that.
Yeah.
It's a bummer it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Now is the time. on the show where we make recommendations.
Return
movies.
to Silent Hill's Day in the Sun.
Well, I'm looking through movies that I watched recently. I'm saddened that I didn't save Strange Brew for when we had Steve
You'd
here.
have gotten too excited over in his workshop.
Yeah, exactly.
Great movie.
I'm going to recommend a movie that I think Stuart actually recommended fairly recently. Maybe I'm wrong. It was on a Criterion Channel collection recently. I rewatched Body Double, which when I was younger, I was like sort of, I guess, maybe ashamed to count among my most favorite De Palma movies because it's one of the least respectable ones. It's one that goes like all out sleazy. But
Corny as hell.
But that's what you want with De Palma, in a certain way. You want him.
You don't go to De Palma for dignified, sensible.
Yeah.
You're not going like you're not seeing De Palma's Gosford Park.
And also on rewatch,
I do want to see that now.
on rewatch, I also I feel like this time around realized how much of a goof the movie is, how much silly fun he's having. You can take it on surface level as a guy gets entangled in a web of sex and intrigue and violence, or you can also realize that it's just kind of ramping up all of the stuff that you find in Giallo and Hitchcock to ridiculous levels.
And it has one of the dorkiest leads of all movies.
He is such a dorky weirdo, such a dorky perv creep. And this is Dan and I were texting about this. That part of the issue I had when I first saw that movie was I was like, yeah, if I was in this situation, I would not get caught in a web of deceit. A Hitchcock movie is about a regular person who gets caught up because their inner obsessions get latched. But he's right from the start. He's a weird guy. He's doing weird things. I'm not going to follow my neighbor to the mall and take her panties out of the garbage and look at him no, I'm not going to do that.
But that's the key, I think, that you're not. I mean, the fact that he does that is the key that you're like, oh, you're not supposed to take this guy as
he's not
your
an
normal
audience
sympathetic.
surrogate. Yeah.
I was texting because I found it very funny that literally in the middle of the movie there's a cop character who comes in and is like, "Hey, you creepy weirdo! What have you been doing for the whole first half of the movie? You did it all wrong." Anyway,
and shout out to friend of the Flophouse, Barbara Crampton, in a small role.
Very brief, but she's in there.
I am going to recommend a movie that may have been mentioned a couple times on the podcast. I recently went to a screening of a couple of short Kiyoshi Kurosawa movies at the IFC Center. I saw his most recent one, Chime, and I saw The Serpent's Path. But I'm actually going to recommend one of his more popular films, Cure. Which to me, I feel like it's very applicable to the movie we watched today. And I only watched it recently, and it's crazy to see how its fingerprints are all over. It came out in 98, 99, and so much horror has been influenced by this guy's movie. Everything from movies like The Ring to something more weird Alan Moore's Providence comic book. Just the idea of this spreading madness, and the filmmaking techniques are really interesting. It's just a really weird, awesome, vibey horror movie, and it's great. Cure.
I was thinking, I haven't seen a lot of movies recently because I've been watching all these Flophouse movies. I haven't seen a lot of good movies lately. But I was thinking, watching Return to Silent Hill, I'm like, what is a better movie where someone is wandering around in a spooky place? And so it reminded me of a movie that I haven't seen in years, but I really loved when I saw it years ago, and that's House of the Devil, the Ty West movie, where so much of that movie is just the main character wandering around in a house by herself, but the tension is so thick and the atmosphere is so great, and it really cast a spell of being in a spooky house on me. So I'm going to recommend The House of the Devil. Steve, do you have a recommendation for us?
Yes, I do. You guys know me. I love movies about weird freaks going on wacky adventures. That's why I'm going to recommend 1973's The Last Detail. Was that?
Oh, yeah.
Was there enough bait in that switch for you?
I got whiplash. Hold on a second.
But I don't know. I'm trying to make an effort to watch more 70s and 80s and 60s cinema. And in an effort to watch, real good movies to offset stuff like Return to Silent Hill. And this movie, it just really stuck with me. I really love how low stakes it is, like almost like defiantly low stakes, because it's just like two Navy officers escorting another sailor to prison, and they get in all sorts of weird side quests along the way, directed by Hal Ashby. And yeah, I don't know. It stuck in my brain. And for a movie to do that nowadays is like a real achievement. I mean, when we ingest so much media all the time, I find stuff just kind of like goes in one ear and out the other. And this movie, I just keep thinking about it. I watched it a few weeks ago and I'm still ruminating on it, just how effective it is. So yeah, highly recommend The Last Detail.
Well, we're winding down, but before we go, we should ask you, Steve, if there's anything you'd like to plug. I know Deathstalker's now on Shudder just recently.
Yep, Deathstalker just hit Shudder. It was a month back. So yeah, that's my latest film.
I'd highly recommend checking out Steve's Patreon.
Yeah, check out my Patreon, Kostanski's Crypt, where it's just me noodling on stuff in my workshop. I'm starting a new line of masks called Slop Cops that are just like weird freak cops that come out of a swamp and fight bad guys. Partially inspired by me marathoning the Swamp Thing cartoon.
Nice.
There's only 5 episodes, but great cartoon. So yeah, anyways, check that out if you want to see what I'm sculpting and working on right now. The last thing I want to say, though, just a random tidbit about Silent Hill. I don't know if you guys knew this, but the elementary school in those games that's featured is modeled after the elementary school from Kindergarten Cop for some reason.
Interesting.
So yeah, think on that. Why don't you?
Okay, you just freaked our beans.
I will.
I'll think about it as I fall asleep.
If you can fall asleep after
If I
you're
can.
thinking about something like
that's
that.
a good
yeah.
point. I think
never
I
sleep
feel like
again.
we've talked so much about Silent Hill and the video games. I think I'm probably going to, now that I've reached about 1,500 subscribers or followers on my Twitch, I think I'm finally going to play through Silent Hill 2. I'll do it next month or something. If people want to watch me get freaked out on camera.
If you want to see an
what I
on-camera
want.
bean freaking, go for it.
And that's this mention of followers is a good chance to say we just came off the Max Fun Drive. Thank you to everyone who supports the show. Thank you to everyone who has supported the show consistently over the years. Who folks who maybe don't get talked as much about as we're driving towards new members. But thank you to all of you for the support and. On a more personal support level, thank you to Alex Smith, our producer. He goes by the name Howell Doughty on the internet. You can listen to his original music. You can check out his podcast, Big Howl and Possum. You can watch his Twitch streams after you're done watching Stuart's bean get freaked or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, he's the one who's going to help me get my bean freaked. So
Okay.
As a good friend does.
yeah, wind beneath my wings.
I'm just
Freak
thinking
beneath your bean.
Anyway, what am I doing? I'm signing off. For the Flophouse, I've been Dan McCoy.
Hey, Dan McCoy, it's me, Stuart over here, Stuart Wellington.
I'm Elliot Kalin, not doing a voice, and we've been joined by...
I'm Steve Kostanski. Stay scared, everybody.
Oh,
Stay
oh,
scared.
he's got his catchphrase.
What a good sign-off. His sign-off is so much better than any of ours.
I stole it from George Romero.
On this episode, we discuss Return to Silent Hill.
Return to Silent Hill. You know, in some ways, I never left.
That's sick.
Also,
That's sick, dude.
Also pretty great.
That rules.
okay.
Did you? Are we talking to Christoph Gans right now or whatever?
Return to Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Wait, did he direct Brotherhood of the Wolf?
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
That's
man.
him?
And Crying
Hell yeah.
Freeman as well.
And Crying Freeman as well.
Yeah, some bangers in there.
I had to show a scene from Brotherhood of the Wolf to the people I'm working with to because there was I was talking about there was a monster that has like a bone tail and I'm like, oh, it could be kind of like that bone kind of nunchuck sword thing that the guy has at the end.
Yeah.
And I showed them that scene and watching it, I was like, this movie looks so much sillier than I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, that bone sword though. It's
It looks
one
great.
of the best.
It's so-
and the best transition in movie history, going up Monica Bellucci's body and then her boobs turn into mountain peaks. It's great.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Oh man, we're wasting all this stuff. Okay, we got to get into the
Alex,
actual.
flip
If only we
somewhere.
were recording it.
Yeah.
Are we recording? Everybody
Yes,
recording?
we've been
Okay.
recording for a
You
while
look
now. Yeah.
So disgusted. Okay, here we go.
Maximum Fun
A worker-owned network.
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
Directly
by you.